are back here with the podcast, the Balls Deep podcast. This is episode 4. This is post-week 2 and pre-week 3. And we're just going to start right now and get into the recap.
Alrighty, so we'll just go through the games real quick. We've got Sam beating Clayton this week. We've got me beating Casey. Joey beat Tanner. Dwayne beat Harley. And Sean beat Nate by 1 point.
1 point. Last drive, too, I think.
Yeah,
that was a wild game. Me and Sam's game was pretty close, too. Although the score doesn't reflect it. But
yeah, Evan even got a late touchdown, and that broke it. Open for Sam.
Cowboys would have stopped them 3 and out on the Giants' last drive. Zeke needed 2 more yards, and I would have won. So.
And, yeah, Saquon was just racking up the catches towards the end of the game with the Giants in catch-up mode, and that is what put Sean over Nate at the very last minute. So we want to go into our biggest winners and biggest losers this week. So our biggest winner, we have got Sexy Sam there.
Yeah, you put up 148 like that. It's hard to beat. I even put up 135, but good job for Sam. His whole team was just absolutely solid. Both of our teams, honestly, on Sunday, I was watching, and it was just like touchdown. The other guy's team get a touchdown. It was an exciting game, and both of us kind of popped off.
Fun to watch. Losing with 135 points definitely sucks.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Those ones hurt.
But, it happens. Sometimes you get those bad fantasy matchups, and it sucks. So then our biggest loser of the week.
You suck,
Tanner.
Jackass.
You suck.
Yeah,
72 points. That's worse than Casey last week.
So far, the lowest scoring person by week this year is Tanner Larson.
Yep. And speaking of Casey,
I mean,
another disappointing week, to say the least.
When do you think Casey breaks 100? Honestly, let's be
Has he
real.
been broken 100 over 2 weeks? Oh, okay.
Wow. He's broken 150. But yeah, definitely the lowest scoring person in our league right now.
Casey would be in last place overall scoring, 85 this week.
78 last week, I think.
Just another bad week for Casey. Hopefully he picks it up.
He did. He did get some Fitz magic this week, so we'll see what else is squad.
No one wants to see anybody hurting that much. To say that the least, Casey has lost to Clayton and I back-to-back weeks and lives with us. It's been a rough couple days.
Yeah. Every time he walks out of his room, he hears about it.
So let's get into pickups this week.
Yeah, so Casey did add Fitzmagic, like I said. Maybe that'll bring his team some magic. That was honestly like one of my more favorite pickups. The other thing, though, Casey did get unlucky again. Rumor has it he put $12 on the Bears defense, and they were picked up for 13
by my co-host here. I picked up Gio Bernard, probably the hottest overall name this week with Joe Mixon getting hurt.
You could have a starting running back for 4 weeks if that's what it requires.
For me personally, that's right when Mark Ingram will get back. So Tanner swapped Patriots running back with Rex Burkhead and James White.
I actually kind of like that pickup. I don't know. I know you have Sony Michel, and I mean, they gave him the ball a bunch this week. I like it. The Patriots right now don't have wide receivers to throw to, and James White's been targeted a bunch. So
he'll be the guy when they're losing. I don't disagree with you at all about that. I just don't see them losing as much or being in as many competitive games as they've been in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think the biggest thing with Patriots running backs is just trying to find the guy who they have on the goal line. I think that for them, that's the biggest thing. If you have their goal line guy, he's a pretty decent RB2 most years. So,
and they gave Michelle 10 carries last week. That's what I liked. Getting that rushing work is valuable, and then he was involved a little bit in the passing game.
And he didn't play in the preseason too, so you got to think that he might get just integrated more and more into that offense. So he could be a solid steal, or he could just be what he was last week. So we'll see.
So then, speaking of pickups, I want to talk about someone who wasn't very smart with the pickups this week, and Harley. I don't even know who Bryce Butler is.
I had to do a little bit of background research on him too. $10, but I
don't disagree with the fact that some Cowboys wide receiver is going to be valuable this year at some point. I don't think you had to pay $10 for him.
I think you could have got him for free.
You guys text us in the group or tell us something, leave a comment if you guys had money on Bryce Butler.
I didn't even look at Bryce Butler this week.
And prove me wrong. And prove us wrong. But I think you could have gotten him for free. $10, I mean, that's a tenth of your budget on the guy who just got signed, who totally left the team. They obviously wanted him back because they re-signed him, but I don't know. I think you could have gotten him for free.
Yeah. And then moving on to Casey. Players who outscored Casey's quarterback. So Casey's had some quarterback woes.
20 total points.
8 points week 1, 12 points week 2 from his quarterbacks. Josh Allen this week outscored
in his first start ever with the Buffalo Bills.
In the Buffalo Bills,
in the Bills.
So
he outscored
Josh Allen. But we have some Ryan. You have some more interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to mention too Tavon Austin, a guy that hasn't scored over 20.
Yeah, why didn't Harley pick up him?
Yeah, honestly. So another guy that outscored Alex Smith this past week. But yeah, we want to talk about that Titans play. The fake punt. Kevin Byard to Dane Cruikshank. So it turns out, Cruikshank is not listed in fantasy on ESPN for how many points. So me and Clayton did the calculations ourselves. Turns out Dane Cruikshank scored 13 points on that one play. And so that was enough to outscore Alex Smith.
Too bad Casey did not start in this week.
What is even more interesting is the guy who threw him the ball. Kevin
one
single pass, one play. Casey started him at quarterback. That's 10 points right there.
So it's only 2 points.
Only 2 points less than what Alex Smith got playing the whole game. That is 2 more points than what Matthew Stafford put up.
In week 1, yeah.
So you'll see. Hopefully Carson Wentz is back for Casey.
We all got Fitzmagic, though. Fitzmagic.
Fitzmarino is what I heard today.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully he can. But yeah, so that is how bad Casey's quarterbacks have been. It's
been a rough go around for Casey all around. So we're gonna do most disappointing player from weeks 1 and 2 for every team. One player per team.
So we'll start with Clayton here. Get right into it. Just going off the list here. Doug Baldwin is Clayton's most disappointing player. Clayton got him in the 4th, I believe.
Yeah.
Drafted him to be his wide receiver, or I guess his flex.
A strong flex.
And he played a little bit in week 1, sprained his other knee, the one that wasn't a problem coming into the season. Didn't play this past week. It sucks when your guy that's disappointing is injury ridden. But
especially a guy you draft so high, which
you hate to see that for a guy you draft so high. But he's been super disappointing. Obviously, hasn't played, so yeah, that's Clayton's disappointing player.
Then moving on to Ryan's team real quick. David Johnson. That offense is just brutal now.
My first pick.
I just when you go over here and you look at David Johnson's rushing stats, 9 carries, 37 yards, 13 carries, 48 yards. That offense right now is killing Ryan. Another honorable mention that I thought about was Marquise Goodwin, but because he's kind of been hurt, that one wasn't quite as high on my list. But
immediately.
David Johnson, that Cardinals offense needs to figure something out. And this week they play Chicago. So another tough week.
Hopefully they'll be playing
in line for David Johnson. But moving on to Harley.
His most disappointing player, and this one seems obvious, is LaShawn McCoy. Hasn't done nearly anything all year.
Most years he's an RB1.
You have to attribute that to Buffalo's horrible offense too. So LaShawn McCoy was hardly. He was at that turn, so you call it second and third, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
20 or 21 pick, and he's just 11 total points on the season. He's been worse than David Johnson. He's got the cracked rib cartilage, so he's going to be out either a week, maybe he plays this week, maybe he doesn't. He won't miss too long, but right now it's just not looking great.
Yeah, just another thing where that offense is really hurting the running back. So
yep.
Going on to Casey's team here,
a surprising one here.
Dalvin Cook. Now When Casey drafted Dalvin Cook, Melvin Gordon was still available. And if we'll go on to Sam's team and show you Melvin Gordon, but it's a big difference. And Dalvin Cook has 18 total points. I'm pretty sure Melvin Gordon is upwards of 50 right now. We'll double check that. Yeah. But he did kind of get hurt last week. But I don't know. He's not near as efficient as he was last year. Yeah, if you look at the touches, look at week 1. Like he had 16 rushing attempts and he had 6 catches. Like that's plenty
less than 3 yards a carry. Right?
Yeah, but that's plenty of work. And then the work went down against Green Bay. You really kind of hope he bounces back. That was Casey's number 1 pick. And if that's your number 2. I'm sorry, DeAndre Hopkins was his first pick. But if he's drafted that high, you kind of really hope he bounces back.
Yep, and that's especially with the Vikings offense scoring so many points on Sunday. You'd hope that Dalvin Cook would get on some of that. So Sam's team, this is the first one that's kind of a lower pick, I guess.
Yeah.
Tariq Cohen is Sam's most disappointing player. And it's not that people expected him to like break out this year and be ahead of Jordan Howard in the end. I didn't think so. Personally, I thought they were going to use Howard more, and I heard good things about him during the preseason, about his receiving game. But Cohen had more value than this even last year, and he was undrafted last year.
Yep.
He was returning kicks. He was electric. He was making big plays in the passing game. And, you look at this. He had 2 yards of carry last week. What kind of catches did he have? We didn't look at that. One catch, so he's not getting targeted as much.
I think Howard's out catching him this
year. Howard is out catching him.
Which is shocking.
Yeah.
You kind of like what was the hype. This is just hype, but was like a Tyreek Hill kind of role for him in Matt Nagy's offense in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Now, in Chicago. Now, Cohen's no Tyreek Hill. We're not saying that, but that was kind of the comparison pre-draft.
They were going to use him a lot, and you just don't see many design plays going to him. You don't see him on the field very much.
Yeah, so it just disappointed.
Even when they're playing from, I guess they've played with a lead a lot in their couple games. But maybe if they're playing from behind, he'll have some more value, but right now it's just not there.
Yeah. Moving on to Tanner's team. I will say another thing, we did players who are on your roster right now. Because Tanner would have
probably been
McKinnon.
Or
McKinnon. But players on your roster right now, Greg Olsen was up there. But Robbie Anderson, he was really solid last year. And
towards the end of the year.
Yeah, my bad. But only 4 catches so far. If you take away that one big play for him, he hasn't done much. You kind of thought Darnold maybe was going to be improvement at quarterback, and you were really hoping Robbie Anderson.
He has been. It's just that he doesn't like Robbie Anderson. It's not his favorite.
Yeah, Quincy Enunwa has been the guy he's been going to. So Robbie Anderson, kind of disappointing. Not one of the higher picks, but like I said, the player had to be on the roster, and Tanner's already dropped high draft picks.
And the one catch that he did have in that first game, that was his only target. That's the thing. He's not getting as many targets as he did last year. He's not the only guy there anymore. Last year, he was the only guy left on the receiving corps for the Jets, really.
Yeah. Now they got Pryor. Enunwa's healthy. Powell's been a receiving guy. He had a good week receiving this week, so really curious to see.
So Robbie Anderson kind of just seems like the odd man out, right? Even that Herndon, I believe it was Chris Herndon, had more targets, catches, yards than Robbie Anderson this year, last week.
Never even heard of his name. So
yeah,
wow.
He's the guy who fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line.
Oh, gotcha.
Moving forward, we've got Nate's team. Nate's team, not too many disappointing players. Alex Collins hasn't been great. It's mostly the lack of usage again. At the end of last year, you saw Alex Collins getting a lot of carries, being really the guy.
He was way more efficient last year, though. If you look at the 2 weeks, he has 7 attempts, 13 yards, 9 attempts, 35 yards. And
really saved that first week with the touchdown.
That's
really all. I think he also had some receiving work in the second game here.
Yeah, a little
3
bit.
catches for 55 yards.
So an improvement in week 2, but he hasn't. A lot of people projected him as an RB2, and right now
RB2 flex kind of play, and he's just
not performing up to even RB3 standards. So just something to look at there is
Buck Allen's almost been the guy. It's surprising. Buck Allen's the smaller receiving back, but he gets the goal line carries, which is, and that was the same way last year, which has always been weird to me. I don't get it, but they do. They line him up at fullback.
And Baltimore has looked better this year, in my opinion. So I just a guy who the reverse is where the offense is doing better but he's not.
It's
doing
going
better.
to Flacco, really.
Yeah, true. All right, moving on to Dwayne's team. You have to say Le'Veon Bell. Drafted
another consideration with Forrest here.
Yeah, drafted second overall,
third
overall, and has yet to see even the Steelers' facilities. So
there's not much else to say.
Yeah,
it's a bummer.
Yeah, moving right along to Sean's team after that, though.
So Sean's team, the most disappointing player we chose was it Ertz?
Actually, on Sean's team,
we chose Deshaun Watson.
Right. Sean's team has had players have one disappointing week and then kind of bounce back or have a good first week.
Hunt was disappointing the first week.
Yeah, we kind of talked about him.
Was disappointing the first week, bounced back this past week. But really the difference is Deshaun Watson was drafted with the expectation that maybe not expectations, with the hopes that he was going to keep putting up the numbers that he was putting up last year when he
be a top 3 quarterback. And if you look at the quarterback numbers this year, they've been ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous.
And Deshaun Watson hasn't been a part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
2 touchdowns this past week, only 1 pick, 25 points. I mean, that's nothing to laugh at, or to slouch at, I guess. You like 25 points from your quarterback.
But when you saw multiple quarterbacks put up 40-plus week 1, 40-plus week 2.
It's just not that hard anymore.
Multiple quarterbacks put up 30 points in week 2 again, and Deshaun isn't there. But I mean, you saw him play better against Tennessee. Dumb play though at the end of the game there with DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, with running.
He just, I don't know. He doesn't. Obviously, he does not look as good as he looked last year, and that's why he's on this list.
Yep. And I don't know what I was gonna say, but yeah.
All right, moving on to Joey's team, and we have Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette, part of it is the injury thing. We've had some injuries. Hopefully he'll be back this week. It was a minor hamstring thing that kept him out last week against New England. But he played the first half.
Didn't look like they even needed him, huh?
Oh, my God. Shut up. No, yeah, they didn't. I mean, they played a great game. Got to give it to him. But, Fournette, he's been hurt. The first week, he didn't start bad, but you really hope he gets healthy because especially after the week Joey just had and not having Fournette this week.
Exactly.
Add Fournette into the mix, and, we'll see what he does.
So I guess moving forward, we're going to go into what is usually probably the most interesting part. Oh, no, we want to do matchups of the week first, I guess.
Yeah, I would say the best for last in the power rankings.
Yeah, we want to do the power rankings last. So this week, I would say my favorite matchup that I want to watch, besides this next one that Clayton's going to mention, is going to be Larson on Larson. It's the one of the many fun things about our league is we've always had Dwayne and Tanner. We used to have Clayton and Bob, but that kind of dropped out a couple years ago.
Bob's not quite the football fan that he needs to be in this league, I think.
We've got Dwayne and Tanner still. It's fun to watch Larson on Larson action. I wish one of them would change their team name so I could tell who's who. But, yeah, it's going to be one that I watch, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of smack talk in that house.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other matchup this week, we have Sam versus Ryan. So 2 of our 2-0 teams, we have 3 of them.
I think it's the only 2-0 matchup.
Because we only have 3 of them, so it has to be. Yeah. But they're both in the same division. They're both 2-0 right now. Both teams look good. Both teams...
Projections are going to be close.
They are close right now. I don't know.
I don't even have a defense in.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I don't know if any lineup's finalized right now. But, like I said, same division. This is for the top spot in the division. It's going to knock off, for sure, another 2-0 team. Yeah. So we will be down to 2...
At the most.
Or undefeated team. So we'll be down to 2 at the most next week. Potentially 1. We'll see what happens in Tanner's matchup. But
there will be 1, though.
But that is my matchup. So, moving right along in the power rankings
here. And I guess it's not as dramatic this week. We've got them all spelled out for you. We wanted you to be able to see what they were last week and how it's changed. So green's going to correspond with someone that moved up, red will be someone who dropped, and yellow is someone who stayed the same.
Yeah, and so we'll start here at 10. Casey did stay the same, but
we've already been red anyway.
With another bad week, we just kind of move him down even more. So if we could maybe change this to 11.
Yeah, I think that's probably
fair. 11 out of 10, that's kind of where Casey's at right now.
Yeah, so he'll probably move up next week.
Maybe he'll crack the top 10.
Yeah, I think so. So then we'll move on to 9. another 0-2 team in Harley that just hasn't looked the best. With Sean McCoy. AJ Green had a good week. That's one pick that I'll admit I was wrong about. 3 touchdowns on 3 catches to start the game last week, and then another catch in there, mixed in there. But yeah, 0-2, not putting up a ton of points, so he drops down. I think it was.
And he has Russell Wilson too, he's not playing that good.
No, and he's another guy who kind of was drafted within those top 5 quarterbacks drafted this year, and he hasn't played like it yet. I mean, that offense is in shambles around him.
Yeah.
And
so
can't do much.
Yeah, we have him coming in at 9. We have Sean moving up 1 spot to 8. He did beat Nate by 1. You saw the bounce back of Kareem Hunt with 14 points and putting up 70-plus yards. Barkley keeps getting fed the ball like crazy.
Sean Watson improved, doubled his points from week 1.
So that helps him out.
Sean's got a better week. Moving on at 7, I think this was actually our biggest drop.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless we want to move Casey down another spot.
To 12? Should we? Nah, we'll leave it at 11 now. But Tanner, from 3 to 7 is our biggest drop.
You put up a dud like that, and you're going to kind of slip in the rankings a little bit. So,
and then you drop Rex Burkhead, who Tanner's never been scared to drop a guy he drafted high. And he did draft Burkhead to be his RB2. He's not on his roster right now. His RB1 that he drafted is not on his roster right now due to injury. That's a little different. But kind of concerning already for Tanner. His wide receivers still look fine. But
one thing I will mention about Tanner, the Philip Lindsay pickup seems to be a solid pickup at the moment. So he looks like he's going to be probably the guy in Denver. I've got Royce Freeman on my bench. I can't trust him right now. So it's looking like he might take over the starting job there. He's definitely the better receiving option. The only thing that he'll miss out on due to his size is probably the goal line work. You saw that with Freeman vulturing a touchdown from him last week. So
yeah,
give that to Tanner. But yeah, big drop for Tanner, 72 points. You had to expect it, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. Coming in at 6, even though Nate's 0-2, we honestly don't mind his team. He lost by 1 point last week. He had a really close game with Ryan in week 1. He's put up over 105 both weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So
I believe he actually lost me by 4.
4, and you guys were you had 119?
119 to 115, I believe is what the score was.
Yeah, and so with
Nate's...
Nate's...
1 point to Sean this week, as we showed you guys earlier. So
yeah, and with Nate's team, he still has... I mean, think about Rivers, McCaffrey... Mixon just went down, but Tevin Coleman's the guy in Atlanta right now because Freeman's hurt, and he looked good last week.
Antonio Brown, Travis Kelce. Nate has a good team.
So that's why he's still coming in at 6. His points for is up there.
He's I don't know exactly where he is in points for, but I would say, I mean, he's
probably
at the lowest. He's 6.
Yeah, right around this spot. Coming in at 5, we have Joey. Joey had a huge week.
So moved up
37
spots there from 8 to 5.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins look good. One of my guys.
He looks fantastic over there. And
he does. And I'll still say that my quarterback pick was even better this year. I keep finding the gems, those diamonds in the rough at quarterback every year. And Kirk was drafted a little too high for me this year. So I'm still standing by my pick.
No, for sure. I definitely.
In the next ranking. But yeah, Joey's team looks good. You get Fournette coming back.
Juju has looked really good, and then
awesome.
Thielen and Kirk Cousins dominated last week. So
yeah, and Chris Thompson even with Alex Smith throwing him the ball on 2-yard little plays and letting him get in space and make plays, he looks like he could be a solid running back too.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on, number 4, we have Ryan, who moved up 1 spot. Patrick Mahomes is live in the lead by storm. 10 touchdown passes already in 2 weeks. He had 6 last week.
4 in the first freaking half.
Yeah, he looks deadly. And the thing that is going to help Ryan is he's going to have to keep throwing the ball a bunch because that Chiefs defense does not look good.
Rough.
Yeah.
To say the least. But he's got all kinds of weapons around him. If I could just get some play out of my running backs.
But you do, one thing to think about is you have Mark Ingram back in 2 weeks.
I do.
That will definitely help you out. Gronk's looked really good. Marshawn Lynch, he's looked really good in Oakland, honestly.
The one thing I'll say is this week the Chiefs play the Jaguars. The Chiefs have played the Steelers and the depleted Chargers defense.
Yeah, the injuries there
So-
hurt them. They didn't have Bosa that week. So
I can't say that they've played a real quality defense yet. The secondary in Los Angeles, I guess, is still solid. Not the best in the league, especially after losing Barrett, but still a decent secondary. But I'm super interested to see how he's going to fare against Jacksonville, the best defense.
yeah, you're right now the hottest offensive player in the league against the best defense. That will be a good matchup to watch. Coming in at number 3, you have me. I lost to Sam by 13, but I still put up 135.
Yeah, you can't drop Clayton very much. He gets a punishment a little bit for losing the game, but it's just, I mean, you put up 135, you're still going to be in the top 3. That was, I believe, the third score. I don't know if you outscored Dwayne or not in the end.
I did outscore Dwayne, so I didn't.
Third score,
yeah.
Highest overall. Only would have lost to 2 players. So it sucks to lose a week like that, but you're going to take a drop, especially when you've got other people playing well.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to allude to those 2-0 guys. You can't, but I don't know. Michael Thomas for me right now is looking real nice.
That's great. He's got to be the number 1 wide receiver right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, he's destroying it. He's
and my Tyreek Hill pick, by the way, that everybody was shocked about,
except for me,
is looking real nice. I'm sure a lot of people are wishing they had Tyreek Hill on his team. So just not to throw shade at any of you guys or anything, but just let you know.
And I will say again that Patrick Mahomes put up the most points for a quarterback this week again, starting in our league, edging out Ben Roethlisberger. And he was the last quarterback selected in the draft. And I know Tanner was the biggest hater, so suck it.
Tanner could have used a Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he could have. So Dwayne, moving on to number 2 in our power rankings, we got Dwayne. Same spot as last week. Dwayne put up a lot of points again. Got another win. And, I mean, there's not much to say other than he's managed to put together a solid team without his first pick.
Yeah.
Which is
crazy because he has Le'Veon Bell just chilling.
Yep.
Just not doing anything for
I
him.
can't say much else. Stephon Diggs had a huge week. Cam Newton
Breida was quite the pickup. Ryan let him
dropped
go,
him.
and he popped off. So that really helped. He does have the Jaguars D, which is helping him.
and Devonta Freeman on his bench as well.
Yeah.
So Dwayne is looking solid.
Dwayne just keeps putting it together, solid little teams, and just persevering through all his little roller coaster ride that all his players go on. So we'll see if he can keep it up, and maybe he'll get luckier, and he could definitely push.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
So then we'll move on to our number 1. Sam, congratulations. Another big jump. I guess him and Joey tied for the biggest increase or jump in the rankings this week at 3. Sam goes from 4 to 1. Sam put up 148 points. His team looked good. You get a monster week like that, it gives you a huge boost in these rankings. Again, small sample size so far, 2 games. So these rankings are going to start to kind of even out as the season goes on, and you'll kind of see more consistent. Right now there's big jumps, and it's kind of interesting to see who's having big weeks and then super down weeks.
Yeah, and right now Sam's got the number 1 running back in Kamara and the number 3 running back in Melvin Gordon. And not to throw any more shade at Casey, but Melvin Gordon's the number 3 running back, and he was right there in case he took down Cook. But, enough with that. T.Y.
Ingram.
T.Y. Hilton looks really good.
A guy that Clayton's not very happy with right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ingram did good. T.Y. Hilton, he's done good, 13 and 17, if I'm not mistaken. Amari Cooper, who is killing me.
A lot of short catches.
Yeah, Sunday in the afternoon games. He looked good. He had double-digit catches and over 100 yards receiving. Sam also has the Rams defense, and I honestly don't really mind his flex with Lamar Miller. He's in the top 5 for total rushing yards right now. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet, which is hurting him.
Yep. But that'll kind of average out in the end.
And you got to think if Deshaun Watson, who didn't play that much last year because of the injury, if he does start to come back, be a little stronger, wear some rust off that injury, that offense gets better. Maybe Lamar Miller gets better.
More goal line opportunities. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
And then Sam's bench with Cooper Kupp and
Mike Williams got a touchdown this week
Williams,
too. So
Michael Crabtree's been solid.
I mean, not bad, but definitely Sam is our number 1 this week, and I think a big tribute to that is his running backs at 1 and 3 overall.
Yep. So congrats to Sam. Looks good. I think that's going to wrap this one up for us.
Yeah, thank you guys for the support, and keep watching. We appreciate your comments. If you have any ideas that you want us to talk about, we would love to talk about it. If you want to be on the show, let us know. We have
I'll let you call in if you
Yeah.
want. We can even get you on video. Make yourself a star.
Yeah. So
joining the success of the Balls Deep podcast.
Yeah. So good luck to everybody again this week, and have a good rest of your week. And we will see you next week.
Except for you, Casey.